Imagine waking up in a tiny, silent village, the kind where everyone leaves their doors unlocked, only to hear the grinding mechanical roar of amphibious assault vehicles crushing your white picket fences. This was the terrifying reality for the islanders on a cold morning in April 1982. The nightmare wasn't a chapter in a history book, it was the sudden, violent arrival of thousands of Argentine soldiers on their front lawns. But looking at the backdrop of this invasion, you have to ask the question, why? Two major empires went to war and 900 men died for a frozen, treeless rock that 99% of the world couldn't even find on a map. There is no gold here, there is no strategic gateway. This is a place where penguins outnumber people 100 to 1, and the wind screams loud enough to tear roofs off houses. So why did they fight for it? Because the Falklands has always been a cursed prize. For centuries, this archipelago was passed around like an unwanted gift between the French, the Spanish, and the British until the music stopped in 1982 and the shooting started. It is a place built on ambiguity, where every side claims they were there first, but the land itself seems to reject everyone. Even today, the war isn't technically gone. If you walk the beaches to see the penguins, you are often just steps away from active minefields, fenced off like sleeping dragons left behind by the conflict. To understand why people stay here, guarding these desolate moors amidst the ghosts of soldiers and the howling winds, we have to look past the politics and see the sheer madness of trying to build a civilization on a rock that offers almost nothing to survive on. How do you build a home on an island where nature refuses to grow a single native tree? This is the first brutal realization for anyone trying to settle here. There is no wood. For centuries, this forced the settlers to become scavengers. The Falklands was known as the Wrecker's Coast, a graveyard where the South Atlantic smashed hundreds of ships against the rocks. Ironically, the islanders built their first lives out of these tragedies, dragging timber from smashed hulls up the cliffs to build shelters. But the struggle didn't stop at shelter. Imagine if the only way to heat your freezing house was to dig up your own backyard and set it on fire. That is exactly what they did. They cut squares of peat, wet, decaying soil out of the ground, dried it, and burned it. This was survival mode, living off shipwrecks and burning the dirt just to see the morning. But here is the twist that nobody expects. This rugged outpost is hiding a massive secret fortune. Before the 1982 war, the islands were so broke that Britain effectively tried to give them away. Ironically, the invasion saved them. It brought attention, investment, and the discovery of a calamari gold mine. Today, the Falklands are incredibly wealthy, not from oil, but from selling the rights to fish the billions of squid swarming the deep waters. The locals here are statistically richer per capita than the people in the UK. They rebuilt their capital, Stanley, into a slice of modern Britain, where you can drink a warm pint of ale in a cozy pub, even while the wind outside tries to knock you off your feet. They have tamed the economy and rebuilt the town, but they are still just guests. Outside the pub walls, there is another population that recognizes no borders and no money, an army of millions that ruled these rocks long before the first human ever burned a piece of peat. If you think the British or the Argentines own this island, you are mistaken. The true owners are waiting on the beaches, and they number in the millions. This is an empire of beak and claw. Walking into a colony of king penguins isn't like visiting a zoo. It is like walking into a chaotic, deafening city. You are hit by a wall of screeching and the overpowering smell of ammonia that burns your nostrils. They are so organized, they have even carved literal highways into the grass, dirt paths worn down by centuries of waddling feet. But the penguins are just the infantry. The real titans are the southern elephant seals. When two 4-ton males fight for dominance, they slam their massive bodies together with a sickening thud, bloodying the white sand. The danger isn't just on the ground, It patrols the skies and the surf. Look up and you will see the black-browed albatross, a bird with an 8-foot wingspan, wider than an NBA player is tall. They lock their wings and glide effortlessly in 60-mile-per-hour winds that would knock a human over. But the most terrifying display of power happens in the water. The Falklands is one of the few places on Earth where orcas have learned a suicidal technique. They intentionally launch their massive bodies onto the dry sand to snatch seal pups, risking death for a meal. This is the daily reality here, life and death playing out on a massive scale, completely indifferent to the flags flying over the government buildings. The wildlife doesn't care about treaties. They have survived the ice ages, and they will survive us. But for the few thousand humans who do choose to stay here, living alongside these wild neighbors requires a special kind of resilience. What kind of person chooses to live 8,000 miles away from their motherland, yet feels more fiercely patriotic than anyone in London? To be a kelper, named for the seaweed that wraps around their islands, is to live in a glitch in the matrix. It's a perfect slice of England dropped into a frozen wasteland. You see the old-school red phone booths that mostly vanished from London. You drive on the left and you pay in pounds. But this little England exists on hard mode. There is no fast Amazon delivery here. If your Land Rover breaks down in the boggy marshland, you don't call AAA, you fix it yourself, or you wait hours for a neighbor. This isolation breeds a community that is incredibly tight-knit, but hardened by a reality that most modern people can't imagine. For decades, this hardship came with a darker, more lethal edge. Until shockingly recently, growing up here meant knowing that certain beautiful white beaches were off-limits, fenced off with skull and crossbones signs, because thousands of plastic anti-personnel mines were hiding in the dunes. The war ended in 1982, but the islands weren't declared fully safe until 2020. That means an entire generation grew up playing next to active explosives. Now that the fences are down, the anxiety has shifted. They live with the constant knowledge that their home is a geopolitical chess piece. As global superpowers look towards Antarctica for future resources, this tiny island isn't just a sheep farm, it's a strategic fortress. The kelpers are the guardians of this rock, holding the line not with weapons, but with sheer stubborn presence. In the end, as the sun dips below the rugged horizon of the South Atlantic, casting long shadows over the war memorials and the penguin colonies alike, we are left with the same question we started with: who owns the Falklands? You can point to the flags fluttering above Government House in Stanley, or you can point to the maps drawn in Buenos Aires, but the truth is far more humbling. These islands have outlasted the French sailors, the Spanish bureaucrats, and the Argentine conscripts. They have endured the roar of British jets and the silence of economic neglect. The land here is indifferent to the names we give it. The king penguins will continue their march long after the political rhetoric fades, and the tussock grass will grow over the scars of the trenches. To live at the edge of the world is to accept that you are small. The flags may change and the soldiers may leave, but the rock remains. It doesn't truly belong to the British or the Argentines, it belongs to the storm. But if the storm owns the rock, the spirit of this place belongs to the people crazy enough to call it home, the kelpers who built a life where everyone else saw only desolation. They are the proof of human stubbornness, but ultimately, the Falklands isn't a trophy to be won. It is a warning. It reminds us that no matter how many flags we plant or how many wars we fight, we are just temporary guests on a planet that can and will shake us off whenever it chooses.